In 1967, Senior Correctional Officer Lloyd Hopper was asked to establish a wilderness program for young adult males based on outward bound principles, focused on work and survival leadership. Lloyd took the original outward bound program, developed for sailors during World War II, and adapted it to a 3-stage, later 4-stage, 4-month program to be run in a wilderness setting. It became known as the Boulder Bay Camp Wilderness Program. The camp was located at the narrows between Upper and Lower Alouette Lake and was primarily constructed from the remains of Gold Creek Camp, a recently closed corrections facility on the opposite side of Alouette Lake. Parts of the old camp were floated across the lake and used in a prefab fashion. Not easily accessible, the trip to the camp was a 20-mile drive from Haney Correctional Center to North Beach on Alouette Lake, then a half-hour boat ride to the beach at Boulder Bay, then a quarter-mile hike uphill to the actual camp. All supplies had to come in by boat and were wheelbarrowed up the hill by the trainees. There were no powered vehicles or powered tools apart from chainsaws. About 90 cords of wood were used per year to heat the cabins, all cut and chopped by the trainees. There were 36 young adults, 3 groups of 12, on the program at any one time. Selecting suitable inmates was the job of Classification Office at Haney Correctional, with provincial court judges from around the province frequently sending offenders to Haney with the recommendation they attend the camp. Inmates were assigned to a group on arrival, with one group to a cabin, and a staff person staying with the group throughout. Staying with meant eating, sleeping, and living with the group, including supervision during the day. A 2-4 shift made it possible, 2 24-hour shifts on and 4 days off. A principal officer on a 2-4 shift supervised daily activity, while a camp director worked a standard day shift. Trainees were typically 17 to 21 years of age, first time incarcerated, and in the last 9 months of their sentence, with no history of drug use. There was a big motivator for the newly assigned camp residents. If they completed the 4 stages of the very challenging course, they were recommended for parole. Every 2 days, a hut leader was appointed to assist in the running of the hut, including the key task of doing count. The underlying philosophy here and for the program overall was stressing the need to work together. Over the 4-stage program, the trainees learned basic work habits and progressed through a number of courses to develop various outdoor-oriented skills and knowledge, including a plunge in the lake in all weather. The work stage was primarily intended for conditioning as well as to keep the camp operating. It included time on the woodpile and on splitting shakes. Daily schedule was rigorous, with a 6:30 a.m. wake-up Monday through Saturday, work from 8 until 4:45, courses from 5:45 to 9:30, with a half-hour off for coffee. On Sundays, a hike from 11 to 3, and a movie at 7 p.m. Trainees were paid for their work, $2 a day in Stage 1, $3 in Stage 2, $4 Stage 3, and $5 in Stage 4. Courses included fire suppression, map and compass, ropes and knots, canoe safety, basic logging, first aid, wilderness survival, and basic rock climbing and mountain rescue. Group skills were learned through wall climbing and rappelling, making use of the physical skills learned on the obstacle course. Participants had to pass 1 stage before proceeding to the next, with the climax being a 3-day solo where the trainee, equipped with basic essentials, had to fend for himself in a wilderness setting. One strict rule for residents was no swearing. Consequences were immediate: 25 push-ups for those in the first stage, 35 in the second stage, etc. Directors of the camp included Carl Dirksen, who took over from Mr. Hopper, Tom Hodgson, Ernie Bradford, Gordon Bain, the longest-serving director, and Chris Hawkes, in charge when the camp closed in 2002 after 35 years of operation. Graduation day at the camp was a significant event, with staff, parents, and invited guests gathering to watch demonstrations of skills learned, present diplomas, and offer congratulations. Completion of the demanding 4 months was a memorable achievement for these young men, as seen in a letter to Gordon Bain in 1985 from a former program graduate who said, quote, "Thank you and your staff for what a fine camp that you run. Boulder Bay was the best thing that ever happened to me."
Thank you.